everyone, this is Marika and welcome back to another session of Community Health Nursing. In the very first session, we have discussed what is community, what are the different elements of a community, what are the several factors that affects a community, and we also discussed about what is community, what is health, what is community health, and what is community health nursing. Now, in this session today, we are going to have a very important discussion. We are going to discuss a topic that is very interesting, and the topic for today's discussion is health and its concept. So we are going to see in detail what is health, what are the various definitions of health, what is the concept of health, what was the concept of health, and what are the new concepts of health. Health is one of those terms which people find difficult to explain or describe when asked about. Even though people are certain about health, the meaning of the term health, people find it difficult to describe or explain the term health. Therefore, from time to time, the definition of the health has been changing. From ancient times to modern times, the definition of the health has been changed, and over a period of time, new definitions have come up. People are confident about the meaning of health, but they find it difficult to explain. The term health has been offered with many definitions over a period of time. Let us see few of those definitions. The very first definition that we are going to discuss was given by Webster, and he says that the health is the condition of being sound in terms of body, mind, and spirit, especially freedom from any kind of physical disease or pain. Now, Webster describes health as a condition of our body when our body, mind, and spirit is sound, which means it is functioning at its maximum and it is free from any kind of physical pain or any kind of physical illness. Basically, this definition focuses on the physical health of an individual, but it also says that it is the soundness of not just the physical body, but also the mind and the spirit, especially freedom from physical pain or any kind of physical illness. So this definition was given by Webster. The next definition is given by Oxford English Dictionary, and it says that health is soundness of our body and mind. So when the body and mind is in sound condition, which means when the body and mind is not having any kind of deviation from the normal functioning or normal physiological condition of a body, we can consider the person as a healthy person. So soundness, it is a condition of the body when there is sound mind as well as the body. Now, this definition also says that to be considered as a sound mind or a sound body, our primary function of the body must be effective. So the duties or the responsibilities, the functionings of our body, if it is discharged efficiently, we can consider that the person is having a good health. So soundness of body and mind, wherein the functions, the primary functions of the body are discharged effectively by the body, a person can be considered as a healthy person. These are few of the definitions of health, but there is one of the definition of health which is widely accepted. In the year 1948, the World Health Organization has given a definition to health which states that health is a state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being, and not merely the absence of any disease or infirmity. This definition given by World Health Organization says that health can be described as a state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being of an individual, and not just the absence of any kind of disease or absence of any kind of infirmity in the person. A person can be considered as a healthy person only when a person has a complete well-being, which includes various aspects like physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being of an individual. This definition is a widely accepted definition after the year 1940. Now, in recent years, this definition of WHO has been amplified, and it states that health can be considered as an ability of an individual to lead a socially and economically productive life. Keeping view of recent times, the definition of health has been amplified, and it says that a person can be considered healthy when an individual is able to live a socially and economically productive life. Even though the World Health Organization has given the definition and it is one of the widely accepted definition of health, it has been criticized several times for the definition of health. So the definition of health that is given by World Health Organization is also criticized even though it is widely accepted. Now, very first thing to understand here is that some of the people, some of the experts say that the word health or the term health cannot be described as a state at all. Now, you must all remember the definition of health we just read, which is given by World Health Organization, which says that health is a state of complete physical, mental, and social well-being. So therefore, there are certain experts who argue that health cannot be described as a state. And they also believe that health must be seen as a process of continuous adjustment to the changing demands of the living and also to the changing meanings that we give to our life. The definition of health that is given by WHO is criticized as well, in which experts say that health cannot be described as a state at all, and it must be thought, it must be described as a process of continuous adjustment to the living condition, to the changing demands of the living condition as well as life. So health cannot be described as a state, but rather it must be considered as the adjustment which is continuous throughout our process according to the demands of living, according to the changing demands of living. So of course, how we lived 2 years ago is not exactly how we live now. There are so many technological development, there are so many development in the healthcare, and also there are so many development and there are so many developments in all the field that we see around. So how we lived 5 years ago or 2 years ago is not exactly same how we live right now. Now these experts say that according to the changing demand of the life, of the living standard of the people, we continuously adjust to the changing demands of those standards, and health must be considered as a process of continuous adjustment to that changing demand. Experts also say that health helps people to live their life, enjoy themselves, and work well. So overall, health cannot be described as a state. It is just about adjusting to the changing demands of the living. So the definition that is given by World Health Organization is considered as an idealistic definition and not a realistic definition. Because the definition that is given by World Health Organization can exist in some individual but not in everyone all the time. So obviously, health is described as a state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. So there is always a chance that people may suffer from either physical illness, mental illness, certain social or spiritual problem as well. So it may be present in some of the individual, but it is not possible to ensure that everyone at the same time may have the complete well-being of all these four aspects. So a complete well-being, a complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being is usually not found in any groups or communities that were under study. Some of the experts even believe the definition given by the World Health Organization, or it refers to all the individual as a sick individual. There is only rare possibility that every individual will have perfect biological, spiritual, or social functioning. So if we refer health as a state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being, then according to that definition, everybody is suffering from certain illness or everybody is sick. Therefore, experts criticize the definition that is given by World Health Organization. In spite of all the limitations that we have discussed, the World Health Organization is one such definition that is widely accepted. It sets out certain standards and therefore it is widely used to describe the term health. So the definition that is given by World Health Organization symbolizes the aspiration of people, and it represents the overall goal which every nation must be striving towards. So if we think about the definition that is given by World Health Organization, it refers to the state of complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. Now this can be considered as an objective for all the nation to strive towards, right? It sets a standard for the nation to achieve such kind of health for the people in the nation. I hope you've got a basic idea about what is health. We've seen three different definitions given by Webster, the Oxford Dictionary, and one general definition of health. And then we discussed about the most accepted, widely accepted definition of health, which is given by World Health Organization in the year 1948. Even though the World Health Organization definition is widely accepted, it is criticized. It is one of the widely accepted, and it sets a goal for all the nation to work towards. Let us now see the operational definitions of health. Now, why did I say the operational definition of health? Because the definition that is given by World Health Organization is not considered as an operational definition, which means it does not lend itself for direct measurement. An operational definition is clearly defined description of some characteristics. So, operational definition describes clearly about the characteristic, whereas when we talk about the definition of World Health Organization, it does not lend itself for measurement, which means we cannot measure what is health according to the definition of World Health Organization. When we have an operational definition, it gives a clear description about the characteristic, about the description of characteristics. The first operational definition of health says that health means there is no any kind of obvious evidence of the diseases and that the person is functioning normally. Now, when we talk about the definition of World Health Organization, it says complete physical, mental, social, and spiritual well-being. And it is of course not possible to measure all those aspects and say that this person is a healthy person. But this operational definition says that when there is no obvious evidence of any kind of illness and that the person is functioning normally, we can say that the person is healthy or the person has a good health. What does person functions normally means? Functions normally means according to the age, gender, sex of the person, whether the person's functions of the body is appropriate, whether the functioning of the person's body is okay according to the age, sex, and gender of the person. And if yes, we can consider that the person is healthy. This is the first operational definition. So here, through this definition, we can understand if we see that the person does not have any kind of illness and is functioning well and is physically well, we can consider that person as healthy. Therefore, this is one of the operational definition of health. The second operational definition of health says that the several organs in our body are functioning adequately in themselves and also in relation with others. So we know there are several organs in our body which works for the functioning of human organism. So when each of the organ of a human being is able to function properly in themselves as well as in relation with other organs of the body, we can consider that the person is healthy. Now, this definition refers to equilibrium. Now, what is homeostasis or equilibrium of a body? A relatively stable condition. As human beings, we may be exposed to various internal as well as external stimuli. Even then, our body is able to function effectively and is able to adapt to those kind of stimuli to maintain homeostasis, which means a stable condition of our body. Now, there are certain new philosophies of health. Let us see what are those. The first says that health is the fundamental right of an individual. Now, this one says that health is one of the fundamental right of an individual and it is the essence of the productive life. In order to live a productive life, the next one is that health is an integral part of development. Now, when we think about development, we think about physical development. We think about development of an individual. Health must be considered as a part of development. It is one of the most important component of an individual development. So it must be considered as an integral part of development, and an individual must develop not just socially or economically but also health-wise. Another philosophy says that health is the central of quality life. In order to live a quality life, we need to make sure that the health of an individual is maintained and there no any kind of illness or deformity individual is suffering from. The next philosophy says that health is a social goal and a social investment for the entire world. So health is not something that is to be neglected. It is considered as a social investment for the entire world. So health must be maintained, the health of an individual must be given central importance to, and it must be maintained because it is considered as a social investment for the world. So these are the various new philosophies of health. Let us now move on to discuss about the concept of health. Now, when we talk about the concept of health, health in different communities are perceived in different way. Different societies, different community, and even different individual perceive health as a different concept from one another. But it is seen that health is one of the common theme in all of the culture. So every culture believes in health, every culture believes in promotion of health, but it is perceived in different way. It might have different meaning for different communities as well as for different individuals. So from all the definitions that were used in older times, the definition that is still used in different cultures to describe health is absence of a disease. Most of the culture believe that when there is absence of any kind of disease in an individual, the individual can be considered as an healthy individual. And if we see other communities, many culture also believe that health and harmony are almost equivalent to one another, wherein harmony is described as being at peace with oneself, with the community, with the society, and even with God. So when we talk about the definition of health from the older times till now, one of the most widely perceived definition or meaning of health is absence of disease. And in many culture, they also believe that health and harmony is similar or they are equivalent, wherein harmony is described as an individual satisfaction or being at peace with oneself, with the community, as well as with the God. Now we have a very interesting thing to discuss. When we are discussing the concept of health, we see that modern medicine only focuses, and it is often criticized also for this, that it only focuses on the disease and the prevention of disease and neglects the term health. So it is believed that in modern time, or we are more focused to study about the disease and we neglect the term study of health. Even to now, it is seen that the study of health is neglected. For example, the determinants of the health is not yet clear. The current definition for health are still elusive. There has not been a proper one single way of measuring the health. So it is believed that we are more focused on study of disease and we are neglecting the term health, or we are neglecting how a health of a person is maintained, how it is to be measured, and what are the various determinants of health. So all these concepts of health, all these components of health are still neglected and not studied properly or not found out properly. Now, we might hear there are various health services. We are technologically advanced in terms of healthcare sector, yet health, even after having so much development, even after being one of the most used service, it is being neglected. Now, if we consider an individual and if we see health from an individual's level or an individual's perspective, or an individual do not consider the health as the major component of their lives. So in individual's life, concepts or things such as wealth, power, prestige, knowledge is given more importance than the individual gives importance to the health. Here it says that in an individual level, when we take one individual and ask what is the most important thing in one's life, the individual will not consider health as the top priority, but wealth, knowledge, prestige, or their security comes first, which means health is often neglected. Now, for every individual as a human being, we take health for granted, and until and unless we lose our health or we start becoming unhealthy, when health starts, only then we consider health as a valuable thing. When we are healthy, we do not consider or look after our health. Now, as we discussed in the philosophies of health, we have seen that health is considered as a social investment or a social objective for the entire world. In the past few decades, there has been reawakening that health is considered as a social goal or a social investment and also fundamental human right. From the past few decades, there has been reawakening, and now people are understanding that health is equally essential for the survival of an individual. Until and unless one has a good health, a quality life cannot be led. In the year 1977, the World Health Assembly was held, which was the 30th World Health Assembly, and in that assembly it was decided or it was declared that the main social target of all the government and also the World Health Organization All the citizens in all the nations throughout the world must be able to attain health which permits them or which allows them to live a socially and economically productive life. So in the year 1977, 38th World Health Assembly was held, and in that assembly they started an initiation called Health for All. Now in this they decided that the social target for all the government as well as for the World Health Organization for the upcoming decades will be the attainment of good health by all the citizens by the year 2000, wherein the individuals will be able to live a socially and economically healthy life. Let us now, we have discussed about the concept of health. Let us now see what are the various changing concept of health. Now, why are we studying about changing concept, or how did the concept of health change? As we are seeing, there are various developments, and according to the new changes in the way we live our life, the demands of the new world, continuous change and new concept, it is obvious that the concept of health also changes. Various professional groups such as scientists, social science specialists, health administrator, ecologists, all of these professionals have come together and given a new concept to health according to the new changes, according to the continuous changes that we see in everyday world. Now, one important thing for us to understand that health has evolved, the term health has evolved over a period of time. It was first considered as an individual state, individual's ability to lead a healthy life. Then it was also thought as a social goal for the entire world. Also, it is considered as the most essential central feature of a quality life. So the word health and the description of the health has been changing and evolving over a period of time. Now, as I said, various professionals such as sociologists, ecologists, social science experts, medical experts have come together, given new concept to health. Let us see what are those concepts and what does it describe about health. The first concept is called as biomedical concept. Now, traditionally, when we see health is considered as wherein the individual is free of any kind of disease or illness. So, health has always been viewed as absence of a disease. If one is free from any kind of disease, any kind of illnesses, then the person is considered as healthy. Now, this concept is named as biomedical concept, and it is the basis of germ theory, and it is also the basis of germ theory of disease. When we say that a person is free from any kind of disease or there is absence of any kind of the disease in the person is considered as healthy. Now, this is a biomedical concept of health. It is the basis of germ theory of disease. The medical professionals in biomedical viewed a human body as a machine. So human body is considered as a machine in biomedical concept, wherein the disease is considered as a consequences of the breakdown in the machine. So a human body in a biomedical concept is viewed as a machine. The disease in a human body in biomedical concept is viewed as a breakdown in the machine. And one of the tasks of the doctor or a medical profession is to repair the machine, which is human body. So you have to understand very carefully that in biomedical concept, a human body is viewed as a machine. Like how a regular machine functions, a human body is considered as a machine. So if a human body suffers from any kind of disease, this disease is considered, the consequences that is caused by this disease is considered as a breakdown in the machine. And now, of course, when we acquire any kind of disease, our body do not function effectively. So there brings a cut. So that is referred to as breakdown in the machine. Now, once there is a breakdown in the machine, the doctor's task or the medical professional's task is to repair the machine, which is considered as a human body. Now, as a doctor or a medical profession, they might prescribe certain medication that may help to repair the damage in the machine, or they may have to undergo certain kind of surgery or a treatment in order to repair that machine. So that is a biomedical concept of health. Health is considered a very narrow view, right? So here the health is considered as repairing task of the doctor, wherein the body is the machine and the consequences caused by the disease is the breakdown in the machine. There are obviously various criticisms that have come against the biomedical concept of health, wherein they say that here we are only viewing the physical aspect of a human body and the social, psychological and spiritual functioning of an individual is often neglected. So it is obvious that our environment, our social life, our psychology plays a major role in the overall health of an individual. So when we think about biomedical concept, it only focuses on the physical health of an individual, and therefore it is criticized widely for that reason. Now, the biomedical model is majorly focused on treating the diseases. So the success of biomedical model was thought to be the success in treating the diseases of an individual, of the patient. But there were so many diseases that there were so many problems that could not be treated by medical professionals, such as chronic illnesses, malnutrition, accidents, drug abuse, mental illness, environmental pollution, population explosion. So all of these aspects were not treated by medical professionals. Therefore, the biomedical model was found to be inadequate. And also, since there were so many development in health-related sectors, medicine and social sciences, it was found later that biomedical concept of health is inadequate. I hope you've understood what is the biomedical concept of health. They focus on treating the illness of an individual. They believe that human body is a machine. The consequences of a disease are the breakdown in the machine. And finally, it is the task of medical professional to repair the machine, which is the human body. But then later, when medical professionals were not able to treat so many illnesses, so many different kind of diseases that existed in human body, when they were not able to do the repair work, it was considered as an inadequate concept, and it is also criticized widely because it only majorly focuses on the physical health of an individual and neglects the psychological, spiritual, or social and environmental aspect of an individual. Another concept of health, which is called as ecological concept. Since there were many deficiencies in the biomedical management, the ecologists gave many different definition, many different cut. The ecologists came up and gave a different concept, which is termed as ecological concept of health, wherein they put forward a hypothesis which was cut. They put forward an attractive hypothesis which says that health is a dynamic equilibrium between a man and his environment, and disease is a maladjustment of the human organism to environment. Now here ecologists have given a hypothesis wherein they say that the health of an individual is defined as a equilibrium which is dynamic, which is changing all the time. So it is a dynamic equilibrium between two things. So what? The man or the human body and the environment. So what is a disease in this concept? In this concept, the disease is the maladjustment of man with his environment. So ecological concept views health as a good adjustment and equilibrium between the human body and the environment, and when there's any kind of maladjustment, that maladjustment is termed as a disease. So this maladjustment is also considered as a maladjustment between the human body and the environment. Dubos was one of the ecologists who was involved in giving the ecological concept of health, and he describes health as health implies to relative absence of pain, discomfort, and continuous adaptation to the environment to ensure optimum functioning. Dubos is one of the ecologists who was involved in giving the ecological concept, and he describes in his definition that health is, of course, absence of any kind of pain and discomfort in an individual, but it is also continuous adaptation and adjustment of the human body to the environment to ensure that the human body functions at its maximum. The next concept that we have is psychosocial concept. Now this concept argues with biomedical concept, and it says that health is not just about biomedical phenomena or biomedical concept. Health is influenced by social, psychological, cultural, as well as political factors of the concerned individual. So psychosocial concept says that health is not just about biomedical concept, but it is about the social, the cultural, the political, and economical factor of an individual. So it also argues with biomedical concepts, saying that all these factors also must be taken into consideration when health is being measured, and not just about absence of a disease or focus on the physical well-being of an individual. The biomedical or the biological phenomena of health is wrong. This phenomena says that along with the biological functioning or along with the biomedical concept of health, psychological or psychosocial factors also contribute equally to the health of an individual. So the first concept that we have discussed is the biomedical concept, wherein the human body wherein the focus is more on the treatment of the disease. The second concept believes the individual and the environment has a kind of relationship, has a kind of harmony with one another, and if there's any kind of disease, that is maladjustment of the individual with his or her environment. The third concept is psychosocial concept, which says that the human body or the human health is not just a biological or a biomedical concept, but it is the combination of biological as well as psychosocial factors, which involves the social, the psychological, the cultural, political factors influencing the individual. The last concept we have is the holistic concept. Now, the holistic model or the holistic concept is synthesis of all these three different concepts that we have discussed before. This holistic concept recognizes the importance of social, psychological, environmental, as well as political influence on health. Now, the holistic approach believes that there are several sectors or several factors that influence the health of an individual. It is not just about environment or biological functioning of an individual, but all the different sectors of the society will play or will influence the health of an individual and has an effect on the health of an individual. In holistic concept, we focus on promotion of health and prevention of illness. So the holistic concept believes that all the aspects of a society contributes and influences the health of an individual. It may be related to the education, it may be the communication, the environment a person lives in, various other factors such as psychological or political factors. So the holistic concept is the synthesis of all three concepts that we have studied, and it believes that every sector of the society influences the health of an individual, and it is not about just the environment or biological concept of health. So these are the various concepts, changing concepts of health. To summarize, today we have discussed about what is health. We have seen various definitions of health, and we have discussed about the widely accepted definition of health. We also discussed about concept of health, and we finally concluded the session with a discussion on changing concept of health. Changing concept of health. I hope the class was helpful. We will discuss about dimensions of health. Thank you and have a great day ahead.